So it is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the committee of the whole for October the 10th to order. Councillor John Miller gives his regards. He won't be able to make it tonight. First order of business on the agenda would be are there any additions or deletions? Anybody have anything they want to add or take off? Haven't heard none. If I can get a motion to accept the agenda as is.
I'll move the agenda.
Okay, Tracy, all in favor? That is carried. So, first order of business, Mr. Andrew Bereshenko, MLA, Drayton Valley, Devon. We're pleased to see you here tonight, sir, and congratulations on your appointment. And if you want to just, if you want to speak from there, or just move a chair up here a little closer.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, and I apologize again and again for counseling twice on you.
Well,
I figure when you get elected, your schedule is not yours, and your life is not your own.
correct.
And I've been appointed to a Treasury Board, Parliamentary Secretary, and Policy Committee. So usually a minister would get priority in the schedule, and sometimes it changes. So I have to put, please don't change this again on my schedule. So thank you for having me. And on top of all the appointments that I got, I'm scheduling meetings to go around towns and the counties and towns with report. And I prepared a little bit of a report here. If anything beyond this report, please ask questions, or if you have questions about the report, I'll be willing to share that or answer questions after we report.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, and for the gallery here. This is a council hole, so very informal. If you do have questions, just, follow the right protocol, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. So.
Sure. And from now on, I'll make a priority to make sure that it's not only just one-off, but regularly you guys get a report. The first time that somebody's outside of Drayton Valley has been elected here. So I'll try to make use of that and benefit our town schools. Okay, so I'll start with CPP and APP, because a lot of folks have questions on that, and I'll share the government perspective, and if there's questions, I'll be glad to answer that. So an independent report by LifeWorks in 2020 suggested that establishing an Alberta pension plan could be advantageous for Alberta. This plan would increase benefits for seniors, reduce premiums for workers, and safeguard the pension interest of the province. It has been estimated in that report that exiting the Canadian pension plan and establishing an Alberta pension plan would entitle us to $334 billion in assets to be transferred from CPP. nearly half the assets of the Canadian pension fund. Alberta has contributed more than half to the pension fund of total Canadian CPP. Alberta has been a significant contributor over the years. Alberta has contributed significantly more than CPP to the CPP than they have received, accumulating to approximately 60 billion more, with compound interest about 75,000 per Alberta. So we over contributed and didn't pull out $60 billion that we're supposed to. LifeWorks estimated that transitioning from the Canada Pension Plan to Alberta Pension Plan will save Albertans over $5 billion in the first year alone. An Alberta Pension Plan would offer portability, allowing employees to work in other provinces and territories without disturbing their pension benefits, similar to Quebec's provincial pension plan. This is what we use as a model. Alberta, as an economic powerhouse with youthful population and high pensionable earnings, makes a substantial contribution to the CPP. The decision regarding an Alberta pension plan is ultimately in the hands of Albertans in the way of a referendum, and nothing will change without Albertans' consent. The government has launched a website to provide information on the potential benefits and encourages Albertans to review the LifeWorks report and share their opinions as well. Another good news that we have is our credit rating. Alberta's credit rating was upgraded to an AA by DBRS Morningstar. This reflects our government's responsibility, fiscal management, pro-growth policies, and low tax environment in Alberta. So we were upgraded back to AA. Next will be about emission reduction targets. The federal government has proposed a plan to get our electrical grid to net zero by 2035. We have heard from several energy regulators that this plan is unrealistic and will create an unreliable power grid. Instead, Alberta government wants to create a move forward with a plan to cut emissions while balancing the economy. Our plan has us at the net zero by much more realistic timeline of 2050 instead of 2035. And next will be on the pause on renewables. The Alberta Utilities Commission is looking into how to balance renewable energy growth with concerns from the public, regulators, and developers. Alberta has seen a lot of success in renewable energy, but there are worries about things like cost, reliability, and use and preserving natural use. The AUC inquiry will review rules for building renewable power plants, considering factors like where they are built, their impact on the environment, how they are cleaned up afterwards when the lifespan is done, and their impact on Alberta's power supply. The goal is to make sure renewable energy continues to grow responsibly while meeting Alberta's needs. The biggest worry on this one was the base load, because we can't get that base load from renewables. And I would like to finish this report with touch on wildfires. Wildfires have been one of the most pressing issues for our community, and this issue has particularly close to home for our constituents. Over the summer, the Alberta government provided support for the firefighters and evacuees to ensure that there would be as little damages as possible and destruction as well. So these are the topics that I picked that I thought were mostly talked about. If there is anything else that you particularly want to touch on, please let me know, because I'll address those as well.
Okay, and I'll touch on that. I have one thing I want to talk about, our water, but first of all, I guess if anybody has any questions for, MOA on,
Yes, I'll say AEP,
I don't have it on me right here. I will either send it to you or send it to you so you guys can distribute that as well with the community here.
absolutely.
Actually, thank you for.
Anybody else have any questions? I know, I guess I have one regarding the, renewable solar. Is there gonna be a move back to coal, you think, on these plants?
Some people saying that should have failed because of the new targets. I believe that there is room for thermal coal, Alberta, and because realistically, we cannot forge metals and steel without thermal coal. So I personally think that there will be some adjustments to the coal policies. Personally, I would love to have cheaper and more reliable base load from coal. But unless we have new technology, and I think there's some companies working on it, they want to scrub all the pollutants out of coal before they burn it. And they say that they actually will sustain the coal speed, that the thermal progress will be the same there, right? So politically, I would have to answer, I don't think so. Personally, I hope that we can find a solution.
Go ahead.
Hi. So do you know a lot in regard to the CPP? I just sent you the link. So you guys are saying that we'll be able to vote on the issue of the CPP before it would be taken up? Okay, yes, okay. And then do you know who this money are going to be invested, who's investing the money?
No, we're not deciding on that until it's been transferred.
Info, no?
Was that?
Info, no?
Everybody's keep on saying AMCO, but our stand is, what? Let's figure out this first, and then we'll decide who's the best company to manage that, right?
I guess, that was going to, they're the Alberta government's investment branch. So I guess that's my question. I'm assuming it's rhetorical because I think I already know the answer. You say that half of the CPP money belongs to Alberta and Albertans, and we'd like to take it back. It doesn't belong to Albertans. It belongs to me or Shelley or Dara, whatever person worked for their career. Why is it somehow, I'm assuming the Alberta government plans on leveraging that money somehow to their benefit, but what is the purpose of this? It's my money either way, whether it comes from
To save, because we are basically Alberta is contributing half of Canada's pension fund.
But it's an investment fund that's going to be returned to me when I retire. So what does it matter to me if it comes from Ottawa or from Edmonton?
Well, because then you're not sharing with the rest of Canada.
But I'm not. I get a
formula,
return based on the formula back. I get my investment back regardless. So I don't understand the benefit.
With the savings they calculated of, I think, $5 billion is by when it's invested, I think that everything is being shared within Canada, right? We are youngest and most contributing to the pension fund.
I think what Corey's trying to say is, you get back, if I don't put as much in as Corey, I'm getting less back than Corey. When you take out CPP, not everybody gets the same. It's not like OAS.
Yes, if I worked and I contributed,
CPP is very different. So what I put in, I get back.
Yeah.
What Corey puts in, he gets back. So whether it's invested with you or it's invested with the federal government, we're still getting our portion that I contributed back.
Yeah, I don't see how there's any net benefit to
Yeah,
anybody other than the provincial government using it for leveraging it or something in the meantime.
You know what, I can clarify, because I'm not an expert on that matter.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm sharing the message from the government, right?
Right.
But, to answer your question, because you're getting back what you invested,
Yes.
I will ask how that works, right?
I appreciate it. Yeah,
I don't have,
the benefit.
I'm not an expert how the pension plan works. The way I saw it is, because we're contributing as half of Canada does, right? Like for the half, Canada, the total amount, you know, I thought it will be shared equally, but what you're saying is you're getting what you invested.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
No,
think
makes
what-
sense, I'll ask that question.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it, yeah, I've never
I think
clear on that.
what they're trying to say also is that maybe the employers and us as the employees would be paying less per pay into the CPP. I think that's what they're saying is going to be an advantage for us, is that.
Yeah, that would be the answer.
That
That would be the
answer
answer,
is great,
this is in my report as
But then
well.
would you get it back?
I was gonna say, maybe you get a higher return back. if
So
you
your
give
goal
it
has to
some
be
number.
less.
Okay.
But I know Quebec is, their pension
Yeah.
plan's not great either,
Oh.
so if they're having all sorts of trouble,
Yeah, I'd
so
rather
use
have
that as a
CPP
model,
than that,
it's
yeah.
probably not wise.
So Donna, you have a comment there?
I do, Your Worship, Mr. Bochenko, would you be able to ask the keepers of the knowledge here with the plan? If I'm getting $500 out of CCP now, that's the way it is, how much would I get if it's an Alberta investment?
Numbers.
And I appreciate how you answer the question, because I am just a go-between
Oh, for sure, for
the
sure.
public
Yeah.
and the knowledge keepers.
But I think
So-
that's an easier seat, because I think a lot of folks are afraid
Yeah.
that, I hear what you're saying, that we contribute a lot, I get that, and I understand what you're saying, that we can get out. But we have to look at what CPP is in Canada, it's a Ponzi scheme, sorry, but it is. They don't have enough to contribute, so we're carrying the load here
Mhm.
in Alberta, we're profited up. So it's in and out, like there's no investment in the Canada pension plan at all. It's in and out, so if you could help us, if I get $500 a month now, let's just say I do, how much am I gonna get if it's an Alberta made solution? And people will understand that, because a lot of seniors are very afraid that if it comes, a lot of folks are very afraid if it comes to Alberta, they won't get as much, right? And I understand that, a lot of seniors tell me that.
That question, I think with that, would ask if it's reducing your contribution by how much?
Or increasing it,
Your contribution or your payout.
or your payout.
Payouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be some benefit to me, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, if there's
So
no, if there's
either
no
I have
actual
to
bottom line.
contribute
yeah.
less, or I'm gonna, but then for people who are done contributing.
Well, that's the thing,
Well,
for
I guess
people
that's
that are
just
done
for-
contributing, what does that mean to them? Or what does it mean to someone who still has another 30 years to
Well, yeah,
contribute? Like,
the,
I mean,
the pension plan is, I agree, sort of a Ponzi scheme, but it's a demographic issue, and those demographics are still true in Alberta. The baby boomers are all gonna retire just the same as they are everywhere else in the country, and my generation still gets stuck paying the bill, like, that doesn't change either way, so.
No, just like we paid the bill, but if I get a raise in my CPP, I'm just using me,
Sure, yeah.
right? But most of the time, the raise is 15 cents, why bother writing the check? Right? That's not a good investment. So if the government, I'm all about saying things very simply. If people are in it, what's
Yeah.
going on in our bank account? So, for example, if I contribute $1,000 down to the Canada Pension Fund because I'm working the way it is now, how much will I contribute if it comes to Alberta? How much do I get out now with that $1,000 the way it is? How much will I get out if it's a made in Alberta solution? And I think that'll help.
I'll put a question.
I think that's the biggest question in everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, and that's not being
Well,
said to anybody, all that's being
Well,
said
like-
is gonna save us money, it's gonna.
Yeah, I know that English track record is
it's
stellar,
terrible.
it's not good, like, it's.
Because they've ruined the teacher's pension.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's who's managing the money, then I don't
That's
think well,
what scares everybody, is that specifically, I think, is.
And hopefully it's on the website, right? Maybe
It's not
we'll
made
answer.
that clearly, no. If they could be very clear in their communication and in their marketing, then you probably have a better buy-in. Right now, you have a lot of skeptics.
Well, I think they'd have to actually change their own legislation. I believe they have to use AIMCO currently. I mean, obviously, the government can change legislation, but,
Just change it with the legislation. bill.
but I mean, they would have to actually do that. I mean, if
Do
they're
you have
doing
another
anything other
question?
than AIMCO.
Well, thank you, Andrew, we didn't mean to,
You know what,
Appreciate you bringing it forward.
I consider myself a part of the public, because that should be my concern as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
You can see it's gonna be a hot topic.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all, like, it's not me who's changing the rules, I'm a messenger, and if there's legit questions, I would love to take it back and figure out where it's at, right?
What kind of
Yeah,
time?
thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
So, so if there's not any other questions, then the other thing, I guess on our point, I think you're quite aware that we're really looking to do something with our water. And we're in the process right now of putting in an application to the minister for it, and, it should be done very soon. And, once it gets in there, we would like to solicit your help to get it through for a bulk station here as the first start. That's
Yeah, what capacity is the pipeline at right now?
So, excuse me, say that again?
For your water rights, you
Yeah.
pulling from the river, right?
So, yeah, so what we've done is we verified all that, and we know where we're at with
Yeah, but
everything.
our overall draw of what our limit is, we're at like, we're 10% or something, like, we're like minimal, like we're not even remotely close to what we could draw if we wanted to.
And we have our report from our original grant. It's done by Select Engineering now, and if anybody wants to see that, certainly it's made to the public, and, we could certainly provide it to you. But like I said, we've brainstormed here a little bit, and we're at the process right now of making an application for a, bulk station here. It's supported by the county of Leduc. The county of Leduc, is on side with it. And so we applied it to the provincial government, and we're also hoping possibly this may lead to some federal start. So, but, at the time comes when we get it ready, to go, we will be presenting it to council. And we certainly would present it to you, and we hope that, you know, when it, whatever you guys do in your room there, when you vote on this stuff or how it goes, that you'd be on our side and help us get it through.
So when you say, you're gonna have bulk station here?
Yes.
What is that? Can you explain that?
So right now, we have a fill station here for anybody that comes in here. It's coin operated, and they can get water here through a 2-inch line, and it's very limited. It doesn't have turnaround for big trucks. So we are proposing to put one in town somewhere. We haven't selected the site yet. Something to be similar to that is with the county of Duke, where big trucks will be able to come in there and get water. Residents can go, anybody who wants to go in there, you'll be able to do it on a point of sale type of deal, credit card. It'll be state of the art, and, it'll be good for everybody. And,
So make it bigger and bigger pipe size as well, right?
correct. They'll be able to fill in a matter of minutes, where this
Yeah,
one
right now.
is, yeah,
Like a long way.
Yeah, right now you said 2-inch,
that's what we have here in this
and
one.
what do you think it goes 4 or?
Probably 4, yeah.
And it's potable, right?
Potable, yeah, potable as well. This one here as well, but,
The
yeah.
farmers on the system, they would come in.
So the first stage,
Sell a truck.
the first stage of this grant is just kind of, for the soft cost to do the engineering part of it and see what we got. And if we get that, then we'll start selecting some vendors and go from there. And, you know, there's quite a bit to it. I can't really, surmise it all in just 1 or 2 sentences here, but, you know, we've been fighting on this thing, trying to get something going here forever, and we've had some legal advice, and they're suggesting, and like I say, we've got the support of the county on this, and everybody thinks that the first thing is to build some credibility and get a bulk station here, and it could lead to quite a bit more down the line.
Okay, and you looking for, feasibility study funding, or?
Yeah, it's not a matching grant. It's no cost to the municipality here, because everybody knows we have no money. And, so, we're hoping to get it 100% funded.
I can't remember, but I mean, obviously, I'm sure, Donna, you probably know the name of the grant that we could.
Oh, it's to go through, it wishes to, but I think the council deal with, it's the Western diversification, and that's to, site selection and preparation for the bulk fill station, because we're the only one out in this part of the county. And we have a huge catchment area, and, we're looking at designing it so that it can fill back trucks, tanker trucks, recreation vehicles, trailers, trailers with water. You just want to put your tow to the back of your truck, fill your cistern with water, easy in, easy out. And then from there, being that one of your parliamentary committees is indigenous, we're working with Enoch as well, preliminary, getting to know them. We'll be interviewing with their chief fairly soon after our budget, and they're very interested in working with us. They're coming out on Saturday to do this Association Friendship Day outside of the conference, that sort of thing. So, we're very interested in being our neighbors with this project. Then after that, it's pipeline time, because our feed study indicated that we can see water tomorrow.
or they're gonna announce that about water? purchase, or-
Not for this Saturday, they're just coming out to do some preliminary, get to know the neighbor, right? Do some friendship and some, that. They are wanting to start talking water probably closer to Christmas, and then getting to know Thorsby and getting to here, et cetera, through their protocol. And then probably we'll do a joint council meeting probably sometime next year. And, so they're very interested, in that, because we're a Treaty Six, that still makes sense to them.
For sure. I have a very good relationship with,
Every
council with
Chief Cody.
so if you need, in those cities, all those,
I think it'd be great to, I know Chief Cody very well as well, Councilor Warren. I think just let you know in the meetings that are come. I think that's awesome. We forged a very nice relationship with them, and for breakfast meetings, they're really good.
So we're just hoping for your support on it, and we know that, things are changing in the government, and, they're tightening back on their budgets and everything, and, we hope we can get this through, and it can lead to a lot more. As you know, the federal government has made a lot of promises to the indigenous people for water and, haven't delivered much, so we're hoping to possibly access some of that money as well.
do you guys have the numbers for feasibility studies yet? Just you, Rob?
On this first grant, I believe, Donna, what is it?
The first feasibility study grant was $198,000
Right.
all in, and that was from the province. So we didn't have to match.
Yep.
The second grant will be close to $290,000 for site selection for the bulk station. And roughly $290,000. Yeah, that's engineering, site preparation, administration, legal, and then we have to buy infrastructure. So that could be close to probably $1 million.
We're trying to do this in steps, like it's just, it's pretty hard to just jump in and get it all done in one. So that's the reason we're kind of doing it this way.
Okay, and the third one you said, how much roughly?
About $1.4 million, because we're gonna have to potentially look at different land sites and preparing sites. Because that's a construction phase. And determining what field station we're going to go with.
I was hoping to have, our legal counsel here, Carter, you guys can talk on the side. I was hoping, but he couldn't make it tonight, so possibly what I can do is share his contact with you and tell him you guys can, because he'll be able to, fill you in a lot more what they're doing, because they're helping us with the application and everything.
Yeah, all about the crowd, I'm sure.
Okay, I will do that. I'll share contacts with you guys, and then you guys can convince there, and hopefully we can move on.
Sounds good. So I will review all of this. I'll get back to you on all of these items, and we'll put you through infrastructure for some.
Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any further questions? I know he's a busy man. He's probably hurrying. He was in Spokane, Washington this morning, so to get here, it took quite a bit. So, appreciate you coming, and, hope you can, you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the program here tonight, or you can just head out. But, either way, I appreciate it very much. And once again, congratulations on your hard work and your appointment.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Look forward to working with you.
I'll probably have to go because I have to prepare for tomorrow morning for the meeting.
You gotta get all the way back to Spruce Grove, yeah.
What's
You
that?
gotta get all the way back over to Spruce Grove, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're,
you gotta make a little drive ahead of you still.
yeah, a little bit dry, but it's a lot of preps tonight and answering, emails and stuff. So, but I would love to come out more often here, just to kind of stay updated and stay on the same page with you guys, and advocate on some growth here. So, I will, if you can share his contact, I will follow up with that.
Okay.
And then I'll get some answers as well. Thank you for having me here.
No, thank you for coming.
Nice to see you guys, and looking forward to working with Tom and with the council and the mayor as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, be any motion for anything there, I don't believe that. So, next on the item, Thorsby and District Cultural and Historical Society Budget 2024. Marlene Kovic.
Mayor, counselors, I appreciate you letting me come in and make some money. I noticed that before I had joined the Historical Society, the village was giving $20,000. Now we're getting $60,000. So what? We don't want any more. We're good at that. From the improvements that we've done on the hall, putting in new windows, new doors, and the lighting, and actually just looking after the things that are plugged in all the time, that don't have to be running 24/7, nobody's in that hall. We've been unplugging, turning things off. So our utility bills are going down, even though the cost is going up. So we're happy at the 50. I know you have a breakdown of our bills. So that is basically what you're asking for, like 15.
Well, we appreciate that, and you know, we appreciate the work you're doing there, and it's certainly, I know, I saw the windows, they were very nice. They were
Yeah, and
nice
they're not in upside down.
No, they're great, and you can crank them up or down, and
Yeah, you don't have to stand on the table anymore.
That's right, stand on the table or catch their fingers or anything like that, so, it's very nice.
And just some heads up, we're getting new stage doors.
The slide doors.
Yeah. You know, just little things like that, I'm still trying to raise enough money to do that kitchen. Once that kitchen is done, I am. One or the other is gonna happen.
All right, well, thank you, Liz.
I would like to, it's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
The lights at the parking lot around the hall there, you guys realize that they're on 20%?
The whole town.
Our whole entire town is on
Okay. It's just, there's some anomaly, sorry. There's an anomaly going on with the lights. Fortis is in well aware. We are in their sequence, because of wildfires and all the solar replacements, we are not high up in the priority. So when it comes time to renegotiate the bill, I'll sit down.
Oh,
yeah. It's crime prevention. It's just crime prevention.
I just thought that there was a photo cell on there that wasn't working.
No.
But that is it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So, we will be having our, budget meeting, and, we will be reviewing this, and, we'll certainly let you know, but, we appreciate coming in and presenting this for us, and keep up the good work.
Already, I gotta go to our meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so I'll just, we can accept all these for information. So, okay. Next on the list is the Thorsby and District Lions Club budget, and,
Me.
I imagine that's you.
No, you have the report and everything. So I'm basically just here if anybody has any questions. Have you all seen it?
Okay,
So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
all right.
I know it says Rod Raymond on a lot of things, but that's because I used his credit card.
Somebody has to pay for it.
That's right. So I just paid with the credit card, but they have all the receipts and everything, so it's all there. Yeah.
We're very pleased with the way it was run this year. It seems like we've jumped through all those hurdles, and it's running quite well, I think, and.
And we have a lot of new plants and stuff put in, and we've had a lot of good volunteers this year, so a lot of work has been done.
Yeah. So does anybody have any question on the Lions budget or anything they want to bring up, or comments, or anything?
About the camera. are you, finding them to be useful?
Yes, they are. We found the one time when they had some trouble down there, we did see the people on camera, but they came in from the other side. We just got it back, and so now we have to worry about cameras on the other end. No, they're useful, yeah.
Do we have a tree down, down the people for you? But,
Great, see if, Cindy, do you have anything else on here, like?
They don't ask for it. Oh. I just have to send them a bill.
All right, well, thank you very much, then, I guess we'll just, once again, we'll be dealing with this at our meeting, and I believe that's on the 18th, isn't it?
November 18th or possibly 19th.
Yeah.
Broadcast.
Anybody else is welcome to come to that meeting as well, so. Okay, thank you very much. 3.3, that was the Lions Club, so 3.4, Thorsby Communities and Bloom budget for 2024. Is there anybody here for that? Nope. Okay, so we'll just accept that, I guess, and we will debate it in our, as well as everything else. Okay. Anybody has any comments on that? Okay. 3.5, Thorsby Regional Library, I see. Somebody's here.
No, I like standing up.
Oh.
Standing up is good. However, I did bring papers.
Okay.
Lots of papers. Take one and pass it around, exactly that. I'm just gonna give one, obviously, I think I have more than enough here. If I don't, I have it. So there we go. Again. Exactly. You never know when the next is needed, that's for sure.
All right, well, anything, so would you like to go through it, or?
I have a small bit, because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do here, so I did this. Okay, good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed councilors. My name is Paula Rossi, and I have the honor of managing the Thorsby Municipal Library. And as of June this year, let me start by thanking you for the outstanding support the town of Thorsby has given the library over the years. Let us be honest, the value of the lovely facility we have, the utilities, the upkeep, and the maintenance is not reflected in the budget or in the grants we get, and it's hugely, hugely appreciated. So, about the library. The library is part of the heartbeat of this community. If I or one of my colleagues has a reason to be at work outside of our posted hours, there are always patrons coming in to use the library, always, even when the door is closed. And to be honest, we welcome them in because we're the library. I remember the day that I was working with Audrey when two young women came in speaking English with some difficulty. They were new arrivals, refugees from the Ukraine, looking for books to improve their English. Well, we started with the easy readers, not what they were looking for, and kept looking, and Audrey kept getting more information. By the time we were done, Audrey had found exactly what they needed. The young woman needed medical text to help her prepare to continue her nursing studies at college in Everett. Friday morning, what can I say? For about an hour, the live don't come to the unless you have a high tolerance for beautiful insanity. Don't come to the library. It is a wild, wild place, full of very, very young patrons and their parents. And it's such a joy to be in there while parents are making connections and the kids are just having a wonderful time exploring our children's area. It's so cool. Anyway, onward. Our library is wow. Visitors from our local area and further away are blown away when they walk in. They say things like, I can't believe this is here. Our library is nothing like this. I never knew this existed. We want to change that last one.
package I prepared for you has a lot of paper. There's a copy of the budget, our plan of service, our fall brochure, and an analysis of some of the more measurable benefits the library provides to the community, the demographics which do relate to where the library, and a brief overview of where we are and the dream. Let's briefly look at value. This year to date, the items borrowed from our library, books, DVDs, and audiobooks, have had a value. Now, some libraries like to call this savings. I like to look at it as value added to our community. State of $197,987. Ebooks at another $95,000, while programming and Wi-Fi bring the total of measurable value to $306,511. And these figures are reputably sourced. They were used by Old Library as a presentation to Old Town Council and confirmed by a meeting of librarians as being a reasonable approximation of that. This year is also not over. We see an average of 114 patrons weekly, and that excludes special programs. And we serve 422 registered patrons, as well as those who simply come in to use the Wi-Fi for library computers. This year, we're asking you to consider increasing the amount you so generously give us by $1,000, from $48,000 to $49,000. With this, we have not only slashed our furnishings budget, but also reduced our staffing and acquisitions budget. This year, with a minimal budget increase and with pursuing grants as actively as possible, we will be able to maintain our current levels. You see this laid out in the document where we are. We are also really good at programming for the young and young families. We have solid use from upper elementary school-age children, and our library after-school adventures is always well attended. We see a lot of junior high kids coming in for the computers, and Teen Time sees a solid core of teens that come in for the interaction and chill time with Audrey. We are exploring what programs are wanted and enjoyed by the adults of Thorsby and intend to expand the range of programs we offer. The dream, and that is not this year, but I hope will be part of future conversations, will require further investment. To reach teens more successfully, we need resources, such as a movie license, which I hope to pursue in conjunction with the rec complex staff. If we work together, we can get it. We need to be able to offer programs at times that are not within usual library hours, and this cost. To be more accessible to the working population, which is where the demographics handout comes in, because there's a large part of the population of Thorsby that works during the daytime while the library is in fact open. To be more accessible there without reducing services to the people who use us during the day, we really do need to be open longer on weeknights and on weekends, on Saturdays particularly, and that does mean more staff. We need to expand our programming and services for seniors. We want to offer a meaningful makerspace and expand our kit inventory to include board games and recreational equipment for our patrons to enjoy. Some of this we can start now with existing resources. Some we can start as we get, fingers crossed, more grant funding. The dream is something that will need to be realized as we consult with the people of Thorsby and work together to build the library into a hub that benefits this community long into the future. In closing, I would like to thank you once again for the privilege of addressing this meeting, for the ongoing amazing support Thorsby gives to its library, and for your generous consideration of our request for funding. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have to the best of my rather limited, because I'm new at this job, abilities.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. That's great. Does anybody have questions?
I just have a comment. I just want to say thank you for your lovely editing.
That's Talia. She's amazing.
That's amazing. And your great presentation. That was amazing.
Can we go to the library now?
Yeah. I know, right? But it's good. It's good to have that, like, what you're doing, where you're going.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. No other questions? All right. Well, great job, and you will be hearing from us.
Well, thank you so very much. I think it is time for us to toddle off into the sunset, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, 3.6, Blanchett Neon Sign Location Update. Sarah Donna, if you would, please.
Finally coming to fruition, Your Worship of Council. We have the schematics. As I indicated last time, the holdup of getting TELUS out there to locate the lines. So Blanchett had to hire a private contractor. Should be putting in the screw piles, I'm hoping in the next week. And that time to go up there. They had to rebuild it, they said, for the third time. So it's rebuilt now in the shop so that they can bring it out. But they're very good to work with. There's no concerns, and you have the schematic of where it's, this one here, where it's gonna look like, where, how it's gonna sit, and at what angle. So again, we sat on the intersection for quite a while, and the drivers, on the auction market, we'd probably be dead. But anyway, we sat out and we took a look at the angles and so forth, and it fits right the same footprint as the other sign. And you can see from the aerial view where it's going and kind of the angle that it's hitting, so that when drivers come by, they can see it, but it's not in their face. And so they're just working on the final touches, and we're in contact with about weekly. So I said it's got to go up before winter. Has to go up. You can program it any time, but we want it in the ground before winter. But the beauty of it is it's on screw piles, so that's a good thing. It won't be on this goofy looking cement foundation, which is good. I don't know how far they go down, but we're ready to go when they're ready. Go ahead. They did all that before they came out here to see what's going on. That's their responsibility. Yeah, great question. And I believe, they'll be doing a torque report on every one, and so, probably more than, you put them down, you're talking about how far you put them down till you get torque. That's what the size of it. Open a gold mine every day. Well, the beauty of it is, it was called over, it's on them. I'm sure of that. But there was a lot of delay with this sign and so forth, and again, that's just the way it is. But, we're on the move. Okay, thanks for that. Any other questions? Nice to see that sign in there. 3.7, 75th anniversary celebration. See it on, if you don't mind. Again? For sure, we'll just give an executive overreach because this really is a council party and council's festivities, and basically small towns in Alberta, and quite a few are very famous for making their celebrations and celebrating the founding of their town. And of course, Thorsby is at the 75-year mark. And of course, small towns go through a whole lot of things, and sometimes it's hard to build a celebration around all the ups and downs of a small town, but that's what makes it so great, is the ups and downs. It's not just successes alone, it's the hard work they had to get to stay where they're at. And typically the town provides a map for the celebration. The council takes an active role in planning and shaping the festivities, deciding on budget for the planning, because it's your budget, it's your party. And it's a great opportunity for councils to celebrate not only their current council success, but to celebrate the councils that came before them and their successes as well. So to bring back other council members or mayors or whatever for that part of the celebration. And Council Rush requested the opportunity of the planning discussion with council for this most momentous event. And I, Your Worship, with your permission, will then again turn it over to Council. Well, thank you very much. So, Shelley, if you want to talk about it, what your ideas are, and
Well, I'm just starting to freak out a little bit is all, because everyone keeps talking about it and we've not started anything yet. So I know that the Historical Society is planning a 100-year party in 2029, and they've already started it.
Yeah, but they are senior.
they get right.
On the 100
The only
building.
person who I've heard talking about it is you.
Is you.
But I mean, well, why do you think I'm bringing it up? Because people are bringing it to us constantly. Like, I've talked to Amissa, and I've talked, like, Communities in Bloom wants to be involved, and Chamber wants to be involved, and they've been talking. Oh, you were supposed to actually talk to us about that in your report, maybe. Because Shauna had said that they discussed it at the last Chamber meeting, the 75th.
I probably made mention of it.
Okay, okay, good. Because she's like, did Tracy not mention? And I go, well, we haven't had our meeting yet. I would mention that, so. But I mean, I was told we should have a planning committee. We should also discuss what we want to do, because we should actually have an idea in mind of what it's going to cost before we actually budget for it, because we should put the horse before the
As far
cart.
as the planning committee goes, I know, I'm fairly confident I know who would have suggested you need to go that route, and I suggest you will not get anything done this year if you go that route.
Donna suggested, I think.
Okay,
I thought her and Jesse were starting something.
We're just gonna give us some ideas, but, just some thought process, it's just part of.
Yeah, I know my idea, if you're trying to invite everyone from every community group in town to plan it, you're not going to get anything done.
I tend to agree. I think if we keep it, I think, first of all, in my opinion, I think we have to separate this, okay? We have to have what we're gonna do, if Community Bloom want to do something, if the chairman wants to do something, because let's face it, if they're gonna do something, it's gonna be orientated towards making a profit at least, or breaking even, where we don't, we're not in it to make some money on this thing. We're unfortunately, Jesse, you checked it out, and there's no funding.
No, yeah, there's
Nothing.
I mean, obviously, we can, I'm sure, help advertise and promote other contributing events, but yeah, like, I agree, like, we need to plan the event that we're doing, and if they're doing a different thing, they're doing a different
I think that's the only way you're gonna do it, otherwise you're gonna be, everybody's gonna be bashing their heads and nothing's gonna get done.
Yes.
But if we talk to, like, say, the Historical Society and say, would you offer the hall for a dinner? And our budget is allowing us to do beef on a bun for the amount of $2,000 per food runs out, sort of thing. If we can delegate to different groups, what are you able to do? And see who's interested in participating, and then make the party from there. But we've got to set a date, and we've got to have an idea of what we want to happen.
Well, I think basically what you have to determine by how much money you have, and you have to determine how you're going to fund that. There is
Yeah,
no
I agree.
grant, so you either have to raise taxes, cut somewhere else. So that's, like, those are all the determining factors. I mean.
You know, like I can see, yeah, it'd be great to have a ceremony, like an official ceremony on the town, for example, you know.
And that actually costs very little.
That'd be a cost of living, that's my point, right?
There's speeches and congratulations
Correct.
and.
Correct, something like that, and then possibly maybe followed by a parade, you know, where, you know, that, once again, doesn't cost any money. And then if, during the parade, say, Community Bloom wanted to do some barbecuing or something, and maybe in the evening, Chamber of Commerce would want to put on a street dance or something. I'm just talking out loud, right?
Yes, but again, if the community group wants to do a community guide, it gets really muddied when we start trying to have the town try, because then everyone starts, it very quickly turns into the town is dictating to a separate group how to run their separate group.
Correct.
It never works out well.
No.
Like, I've been down this road way too many times. It's very painful every single time.
I have to find out who did the 50th and what was involved, because it seems like the community group and the town came together in the planning of it.
Like, it's good to
Yeah.
have coordination
Yes,
and collaboration, but that doesn't mean we want to be spearheading and having
Well, nobody
everybody
has
sticking
time
like
to be.
Well, we had discussed that we would have, like you said, our thing, and then we'd say, okay, so Chamber, what are you thinking?
Yes.
This is what we're doing at this time. You plan around that, like, we all work together so that,
Right,
but there, it can't be a
Yeah.
big community planning, because that
Exactly,
will
yeah.
never work.
No, and I agree, like I said, yes,
Never
say,
works.
what are you doing, and we will support you and help
Yes.
you within the parameters we can, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't have like 18 different people from 18 different groups having a different opinion. It never, you know, like I say, I
Yeah.
did that process so much, and it's never worked out well yet.
And we have to also pick a weekend where, Calvert is doing something, Brandon is doing something, Warburg is doing something, and we're thinking maybe we need to consider the long weekend and make it, we have a parade anyway. And they all know that's our weekend.
But sure you make sure you talk to the Ag Society first, because,
This is
you don't
No,
want to.
they've done, now they've moved the rodeo,
Moved
the
the rodeo
rodeo's the
to
weekend
June.
after.
Oh, is it?
June.
Yeah, they
Oh,
changed
okay.
it last year.
Yeah, this year they moved it one.
Then I know Chamber was
Weird.
thinking because they wanted to maybe tie in the Thor unveiling statue, and that's in September. So,
So I think, you know, that's maybe we, I don't know, we put something in the target saying, you know, or just reach out to the groups and tell them, you know, what do you guys want to do? Let us know, and then we'll all
Yeah, I mean, we
put it
send out,
together, you know?
or even from the targets, like, some sort of like an invitation for people to submit
Yeah.
suggestions or ideas, but I think we need to then go through it and decide what we're comfortable with before we start inviting
Yeah,
everybody.
that's the way I see it working, because I just, yeah, go ahead, Missy.
Right, I was just gonna say, my goal, not necessarily to have a committee, because in that regard, you essentially have to hold meetings on something, and not everybody's gonna agree. My goal is to get community input, so whether that's through a survey that we put out,
Yeah.
or go to every business and say, hey, if you wanna encourage people to fill this out, we'll send them out at the end of the week, like I've seen, some groups do that, like the Religious Heaven Foundation, I've done that here at the office. And then I also wanted to reach out to community groups, kind of in the regard of like, hey, Lions, is there anything you want to put on that same day at the Lions campground? And then how can we encourage people to see what you're doing and see what we're doing?
Yeah.
And then same with the chamber, do they want to do stuff over at Taylor Park, unveil their statue, work with the village, do a barbecue in Vigo, and then, like Corey said, have it us, but then how can we work together with people to support each other rather than have 18 people?
Yeah, if we start now, we might have something by January, right?
Probably.
But we just
That's
need,
what that's usually the way it works, right?
we need to know dollars before we get excited.
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't made any decisions on this, is I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm.
Realistically, I think no matter what, it's going to be the least minimum, like the least possible. There isn't, like, I know there's not money, so
Yeah.
realistically, I mean, yes, if we
Well,
stick to a plan of, other than effort, I mean, yes, if staff's working on that, they're detracting from other things, so there is a cost still, but it's not like it's not the same sort of cost.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I think if we plan on, there's no money, and then we'll, of course, it's going to be, but we can always add and make it better when we find stuff.
Yes, exactly. But I don't want to go crazy and then disappoint a bunch of people when it turns out we don't have money. That's it.
I think we also have to generate a date, at least a month,
Yes, we can
to figure that out.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know until 6 months before an event is going on whether an event.
I had no idea that the rodeo changed, but if that's the case, yes, Thorsby does do the May long weekend, you know, it's been long, so I would move that we set the date for our, 75th, you know.
I don't have any problem with that. It's
Weekend.
if we can do it,
The chamber had in their mind, I think,
September.
for around September. A few years ago, they did Spirit of Thorsby, where they closed down Main Street, and it was the most beautiful September day that we had. And there was all sorts of events, and it was kind of like Taste of Edmonton, but it was Taste of Thorsby, and different things that went on. I think Legit County came. There were different offerings on the Main Street for, I don't know, 3 hours, 5 to 8, something like that.
So I'm just gonna say that May long is already known as, like, people do come from out of town on May long, and if the rodeo in fact has moved dates, then there'd actually be people just showing up in town with nothing to even do that.
Yeah, no, that's a potential idea.
The issue with picking a date outside of May is you're gonna step on somebody's toes, like whether it's Warbird, whether it's Calmers or Breton. I mean, unless you can find one weekend in there.
I don't think
something,
September anybody does much.
But it probably wouldn't be a long weekend. Probably just a regular.
Well, it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday event, I'm guessing. It's not an all-weekend event, I'm guessing. And on top of that, we'd have to invite dignitaries.
That's one thing you put in when you're doing your survey. You ask, would you rather do it on the long weekend or would you want to do it at a later date? Do it the democratic way.
But I mean, I think the purpose of doing the September, did they have a date of when the statue's coming?
4 years ago.
No, but they actually have someone that's doing it now. It wasn't a thought. It is a thing now. Was it a thing then?
They had said it was then, so yes.
But it was it
This is
that
new.
chamber? Yeah,
New
it's totally
thing.
different
It
people.
was exact same human beings, and like almost to the individual.
It wasn't
Not the same.
at all.
I don't think
Not at
so.
all.
That's not true at all.
Totally a different.
That chamber was
Something
dysfunctional.
The artist,
Oh, no, I mean, the people that were proposing the park design before with the statue, the exact same people who were ordering the statue last time are the exact same people who are in the
Yeah.
statue this time.
This is chamber, though. The chamber's doing this,
Exact same human beings.
but it's a
I don't know
different.
if the artist is the same as what one you're referencing, but,
I don't know, but.
yeah, there's a new idea and it is supposed to be happening.
I mean, you know what, like I said, do it the democratic way, put it as part of your survey, and ask people what they prefer. Yeah, go ahead.
I think being a committee as a whole, maybe we wait to make a motion until the regular, I don't think we.
Well, you can direct administration. You can direct administration to the forward.
And I moved to set it for May long. That's already, I did that, we just have to vote on that.
Can we,
Or do you want? No, we can't vote as a regular, but what I would suggest, to the council, is to tell, administration to start working on a survey so we have some data, surrounding two times, September and the weekend, and report that. That's probably the best way to do it. You have to make a motion to just,
okay,
it's not really a resolution, it's just, administration, can you handle this for us and report back?
I'll tell you what, then why don't we just do motion for, do all the ones up to this here. Motion to accept 3.1 to 3.6 for information. And then we'll just do a separate one for here, okay?
I can make that motion.
Thank you, all in favor? And now we'll just do a motion for 3.7 as to,
Accept this information that, administration will start looking at, surveying for dates of the, weekend or the weekend of September. Report back, whatever. Report back.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Welcome, Mel.
someone like to make that motion?
I can make the motion, but I have a question.
Okay. All in favor?
Jesse, do you know, because apparently this is supposed to be an event, obviously, for not only the current residents, past councils, do you have and know all the councils since the incorporation of the town 75 years ago?
I know them all since the beginning of it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all available.
Yes.
That was part of my big project.
Okay, and so is that like something, I don't know, because we obviously are going to have to try to contact all.
Yeah, I mean, we can try to get in contact, that's part of,
With their
that's a
family.
great idea to have with it, like, try to get in contact.
Because I mean, I know you guys are saying there's no money, but I mean, if there was a dinner planned, you can charge people, and that, there's some money there, right? So I mean, you don't necessarily rule out having something just because we have no money, period.
It doesn't
Like,
have a cost if it, yes,
yeah,
Doesn't have to
you
be a
can still have
money.
money in and out as long as at the end of the day
yeah,
it's a net neutral.
exactly, yeah. Because I mean, I just feel like it needs to be something special. Hot dogs isn't the best idea for this, I don't think, and I want it to be something, like, I mean, to some people, this is a big deal,
No,
right?
but realistically, when we get to the budget, we can start trying to find money. We
Yeah.
can start trying to, maybe we want to start partnering with some communities, doing some fundraisers or whatever. Maybe someone donates some money. There's options, but we don't have them yet, so it would be reckless to start
Well,
assuming we have them.
I agree, but I mean, the whole point is we need to actually talk to.
I mean, that'd be great, you know, if someone gave us a big grant, but unfortunately, they're
Well,
not.
no, we don't even need a grant. We can make it work other ways. There's other ways.
Like I said, I'm sure you could probably get, like, fundraising money and or donation money that would be adequate, given that there's people that are probably somewhat enthusiastic about it.
Maybe the businesses would, that's what you see, right?
There's ways, and what administration becomes is council's support system on the plan. We won't do it all, but we'll become a support system. There could be events at the rec center for that day, maybe that's part of our contribution to
maybe the parade is, everybody that registers has to decide what era they're from, the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, that kind of thing might be kind of fun, and so on and so forth. So we have no problem coordinating. We have no problem getting ideas from folks and coordinating a daily schedule to see what's going on, advertising that and so forth, and creating a marketing tool so it has its own brand, right, which is important. So that's all the ways we can do it, for sure. But I think every community group that wants to do something just has to pick a time on the calendar. Here's what, Donna and her dancing dogs are doing at 3 in the afternoon, right? So, I might bring my dancing dogs, dancing cats, actually. But, and that way everybody has that schedule of events. So you're moving people all the time, and then one particular group, well, let's say Lions has a pancake breakfast, let's just say in the morning. You want to drive people that way. You don't want anything scheduled for at least an hour and a half. And then when they're all full, they get kicked out, and they come over to, I don't know, something else. So, anyway, it's just that, it's that delicate dance of coordination.
So what are you planning on doing?
I mean, really, I've got a smorgasbord of ideas. It depends on how much council is able to allocate in the budget where that might be. Because
I mean, first off, just what's your thought process? Like, what you're gonna put in the target, what are you thinking?
well, what I've put in the target first is survey stuff, and, because I don't want to say, oh, we plan on shutting down Main Street.
Oh, we
so I
don't,
know we can
no.
afford to shut
Yeah, we don't have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, survey. So I'll include a link to an online survey, and probably what I'll do is I'll go around to businesses and drop off even just smaller cards that might just say, which date would you like to see it? Do you want to see it May long, or would you like to see it in December, whatever day, and then comment. Or watch it. Just small cards people can fill out, and then I can go and I can pick them up after a week or 2 weeks and survey as many people as possible. Again, include that in the target. If you don't want to fill it out because it's online portal, you can find it at your grocery store or at Word or anything like that. Ideas for the actual event.
Thinking for setup. How do we contact, like, what you're saying, the user groups and the community and.
Yeah, and then I have my own contacts, like I have all the contact information for all the users. So I was just, essentially once we knew kind of what we wanted to do, I wanted to go to groups and say, hey, Lion, what would you be thinking of doing on 70th anniversary? And how can we match that up? Because we don't want to say, we're going to start at 7 in the morning. If they want to do it. And then I think it was Cindy that had a great idea to maybe do something like a scavenger. If you want to push people to all the community group areas, like if somebody's doing something at the community hall, have a scavenger hunt that says, go to the community hall and talk to Marlene or Sam, and they'll give you a fact about the community hall, a historical fact about the community hall. And if you can select from the Lions, from the community hall, from the rec center, from the senior center, and then bring it back to the prizes. And those prizes can be donated.
Yeah, we just write that down, amazing, right?
In that case, I want to have full town cooperation, but I don't necessarily want to oversee what they're doing. I just don't want to step up. But we also want to send people and kind of make it a whole, again, it's 75th, it should be about our history, right? Maylong is for different things, but 75th should be about who we are as a town, our history, or where we came from. That's one of what I want to do. I've got $25,000 ideas. But I don't necessarily have $25,000. So that's kind of what
We were talking to, you want to capitalize too, and you got people already in town as well. And you don't have to redraw.
Yes.
It's easier to do that than to redraw on a case. So, you might consider that. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter if you're going to draw short. Where's your draw? And if you look at September, October, harvesting, September to harvesting, May to season. So usually people will stop for the May long, hard to say with September either. lot of the trading area too, the trading. It's those kinds of things to think about.
All right, thank you. Well, at the start, we get that survey out, put a date on it to get it back as soon as we can, and go from there. Anything else? All right. 3.8, 2023 AUMA report. I see a couple emails there. To give us a brief report, or you want to talk about it? Or?
Trying to catch up with where you're at. I just took notes from the AUMA, and everybody's welcome to the notes. I don't need to read them bit by bit for you, unless you want me to. But yeah, it was quite a few sessions, keynote speakers, dignitaries, full meal deal. I went to a few sessions regarding CAO and council relationships and just how they should operate, I guess. So the notes that I took are other people's words, and I don't feel there's anything unusual there. We listened to, oh yeah, there's her name. Dean Gill is her name, the keynote speaker. And she's paralyzed, and she's trying to be a change maker. And she has sites that you can check her out on and follow her. And her bottom line message was, do not park in handicap stalls unless you belong there, and do not use handicap bathroom stalls. She's had instances where she's gone in past all the empty regular stalls in a hurry to get in a handicap stall, only to find there's somebody in there who's not really requiring that handicap stall. And it's given her a lot of problems to not be able to get into that stall when she needs to. So, yeah, it was just, you know, weird little messages like that that kind of stuck with you. And
That definitely.
it's a worldwide issue of people overstepping where they shouldn't, and if everybody just does what they should do, then it makes the world a happier place.
Was she talking about, was she talking about, handicap, like with her session about handicap and the challenges?
Yeah, and
yes.
recovery. So she
Challenges.
what happened?
She got a virus in her spine. She was in Vegas, and she woke up one morning and she couldn't walk. And she was 30 years old.
Yeah, she's
One of those commercials lied to me.
what
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Yeah, no, that did not stay in
So yeah,
Vegas.
she's quite young, and you know, she was trying to make the best of it, I think, but she was having the poor pitiful me syndrome. And then she met up with somebody else who was worse off than her, and then she decided, okay, no, I got it pretty good.
I can use my hands.
I got my hands, yeah, I got my voice, and yeah, so she's just trying to make positive changes in the world. So I found her quite interesting, and then just those two basic statements that sound so ridiculously simple, but it's a big deal to her. Well, to people that,
I think,
yeah, handicapped people that are in need, but they're in need.
I heard she has like kind of seriously.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I just read my notes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me to try to elaborate a little bit more.
I can go ahead. Okay, no, don't be sorry. Okay, I'll get there. So, I'm going to be more words than Tracy, as I usually am. So I just wanted to state that this is my first full conference. that I got to attend with Alberta municipalities, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great experience. I loved it. I don't understand why we don't do this as a team every time we have the opportunity, but that's just my opinion. I think it's well worth the money invested. The opportunity was fantastic. I loved it, but that's maybe me. So then on the Wednesday, we started our morning, and they're really long days, Wednesday morning, I started my first session. It was Laughing Matters with Peter Brown. He used to be a CBC radio host, a comedian, and a writer. He just, his session was regarding, the health benefits and reasons for laughter and the importance of it. I thought it was an excellent session. Then the next session I took was with Tracy, actually, because we thought it might be more relatable to us, but it wasn't. It was called Code Blue Municipalities to the Rescue of Healthcare. So it was more so different little communities that have hospitals or clinics that have been affected by the cutbacks and stuff like that, and what they've been doing to try to help themselves. But I mean, obviously we're appealing to the government constantly for more funds on that front. We had the opening ceremonies where we got to see an Indigenous 3-time world champion hoop dancer, which was actually really cool. And then our keynote on that day was Kendall Netmaker, who is one of the 40 most influential under 40 in Canada. And I saw in Tracy's notes, basically his message was to build a bridge at all levels, any level, and connect. What we learned also through even the Indigenous panel was that they have a real, I guess, people that aren't in the Indigenous community don't quite comprehend how to approach the Indigenous community. And so his point was build a bridge, reach out. Like, it just seems very simple, but it doesn't seem like anybody does what they need to do. And I don't know. It was just interesting. Everything was really interesting. We attended the trade show that afternoon, which I got a card and took a picture of this one that might be interest of us. It was a permanent pothole filler business. So I just got that information for us. I don't know if that's something we could use, but I thought it seemed pretty neat to me. The receptions hosted on Wednesday were by Reynolds Mirth at Cohen Fortis. Tracy and I hit them all because, we're very social and hit to bed early that night. Thursday, the first thing was the AB Munis Award, which Kalmar received an award for their solar panels on their rec center. So they won a municipal environmental award for populations under 2,500. I thought that was pretty cool. And then my session was deciphering the code of council behavior, which the only thing I really learned out of that is we should review ours more than anything, because we have what we need on that, but I think it needs to be, they said every year you should review it. I'm pretty sure we're missing a couple parts that we should review. We did the trade show. Then in the afternoon, there was the panel of building respectful municipal Indigenous relationships, which that was very interesting. The keynote was the Ben Gill. She also is 40 most influential under 40 in Canada. She was excellent, I thought. Very uncomfortable, which is good. She made us uncomfortable. The resolutions were 3 hours long on the Thursday afternoon. So they went from about 2:15 to 5:15, which I thought, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it through it, but I thought it was excellent and it was very interesting. All of them.
Or you're going to say,
I'm not done yet.
okay, I'll let
Then all of them were passed except for one failed. 2023B1, protection of vulnerable residential tenants, failed. I think I've never been to one of these conferences before, so I've never seen the relationship between rural and urban at this. So this was my first experience of the resolutions and seeing this. So I was just like, oh my goodness, but it makes sense, right?
It could be interesting.
Yeah, it was. I found it really interesting. I thought it was really cool, actually. Well, because
what's good for some summer villages, definitely not what's good for Edmonton.
well, and I mean, there was a lot of things that the cities want the government to do, but then the small towns were standing up saying, like, well, how does that benefit us? And, like, what's in it for us? And so, I mean, some of the votes were really close, but the only one that failed was the protection of vulnerable residential tenants. And I think that one more so was because there was people in there that own properties, and they're like, well, you know, what about protecting us? Because and then it was just a back and forth, right? So it was quite interesting. I mean, I've never done this before, right? So I thought it was really excellent. It was fun.
Did you got up there?
No, I was just fascinated with the whole process because it was my first time, right? So I thought it was awesome. Like, maybe next time I'll be more brave and actually give an opinion, but at this point it was.
The only time I ever did, no one else spoke against it. I was the only person in the whole building who spoke against it. All right, it was defeated, so I guess I did okay, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing. Yeah, because I mean, the people that did speak against it, it ended up not passing, right? So what were you going to say?
The thing that made it very bearable, because
Oh, right. I
the
forgot.
resolutions can be long and dry, and there was a lot to go through, many hours of it. But in between each resolution, and as they're waiting for the votes and whatnot, they had dueling piano there. And so they would
Well,
play
one guy,
yeah,
but he was
there was no
awesome.
dueling, there was just one piano player. And
So-
so they picked appropriate songs that kind of went with what the resolution was about.
They always do that,
Actually,
they
really-
don't have a pianist, that's pretty cool.
It was
And
excellent.
so then he's singing and playing.
We're singing,
And so you're not just sitting there quietly waiting for the decision to be made. It was really jazzed up with the dueling.
Everybody was laughing and singing. It was actually, it was like a
great
party.
afternoon.
Oh, that is cool. That's literally normally the highlight of the whole thing is what songs do they play during the resolution? So,
3
yeah,
hours,
I never had-
3 hours of it. It was great. One cool resolution that passed, which I didn't even know this, of course, why would I, was we want to push the government to include peace officers under the umbrella for help regarding the PTSD, because they're not covered under that. So we pushed for that, for us to go to the government on that. We also voted to go to the government to say we want to keep parties out of municipal government because we just feel that will cause problems, because the point of us being here is we want to do best for the town. We don't want to do what's best for our parties or for ourselves, right? So we want to keep it out. Then after all that fun, Tracy and I headed to the first time ever Women in Government networking event, which was a bunch of ladies drinking some bubbles, I guess. And it was fun. And then we went to the City of Edmonton reception, which was really cool because we got to sit in the mayor's big chair and stuff. So that was kind of neat. And then we hit the Alberta Council reception. Friday elections, you must have heard by now. Krista Gardner, the town of Kalmar, is now the vice president of towns. So that's pretty cool. The new president is the mayor of Wetaskiwin. So that's pretty cool too. And then we, of course, listened to Rachel Notley, Danielle Smith, and then we had the ministers there for the Q&As. And some of the key things, I got this, it's a little wrinkly because when I was coming back on Friday, it started pouring rain on me. But it just states, like, basically, the provincial government's spending on infrastructure has dropped from 3.7% that it was at 10 years ago, which was about $420 per Albertan, to 1% today, which is about $150 per Albertan, which is about $1.3 billion less. So, of course, we're pushing for just to get back to where we were 10 years ago. And that was that. You can tell I really liked it, right? It was awesome. I enjoyed it. And next year is in Red Deer.
Calgary first.
Calgary was last year.
Oh,
Edmonton this
I
year.
know, for some reason I
Red
thought
Deer
maybe
next.
Calgary, Red Deer, then Edmonton.
No, it's Red Deer. So that was.
Yeah, Tyler there from Wetaskiwin, he was the president 2 years ago.
Oh, was it?
So he's kind of just revolving doors, but he was the president 2 years ago.
He's happy here.
He was just in an interim capacity when Barry Morishita stepped down though, right? Like, he was vice president, Barry Morishita went to go run for the province, so he stepped down, he was leading whatever, his other thing. So yeah, he was just for a little window, he was acting president.
All right, anybody have any other questions? And, you know, yeah, it comes down to money. I mean, we're looking to send the whole council, we're looking at $75,000.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to do the best thing we can here, so. All right, thank you. Next item on the list is the Yellowhead Regional Library draft budget. And, say, Donna, do you want to they just submitted it there, do you want to make a comment on that, or?
No, it's just that, your worship, they send it to us, of course, because we're supposed to see it. And, we've got their projections up at 2025 and 2026. And, if, like anything, we're never going to keep up with inflation. It's a tough one for them to go through and want to keep up with inflation. That's just for auto workers, but that's a whole other issue. 26% for Ford. So that's going to really hit very hard on that service. So basically, it's their operating grant, their library grant appropriation. So Thorsby is 2019 population. We're always behind Canada is 1,051. Then we go to we're low in 2022. 2023 we're at 972. Our 2023 appropriation is 4.65 per capita is $4,500. And our allotment at 0.75 cents per capita is 7.9. Operating grant for us is 48.1. So they give a really good report. And I want to see the trustees. They, they're busy with the Library Act a little bit and the library regulations for the provincial government. And I think it's always good to keep on top of that stuff. Because sometimes you get lost in the snare. And so it's an information report for this world. Good. Anybody have any questions on the element? Yeah, so they keep losing money. Where do they get the money all the time? Somebody must give them. Go ahead.
Have you been going to these meetings?
Get to the one where.
Okay, because John is, I don't even know.
No, you passed a resolution.
Yes. They are virtual.
Okay.
They are
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like John doesn't go to any of the other ones later?
No, way back when we were talking, he said he might have to make it because he's working.
It was the alternate stuff.
Yeah. No, but didn't we have an alternate on?
No, it was me.
Well, I know we discussed it.
You appointed me.
I think the rest of us couldn't
You
commit.
guys couldn't go, so.
Okay.
But I didn't know it was Zoom. I thought I actually
I
physically had to
currently
go.
I guess I don't want to, but I can.
No.
Yeah.
Wanna know?
No one's like actually going, yeah, actually can.
No, there's
I'm
Zoom.
available
I don't go in person.
Yeah, I didn't know they were Zoom because that's
I
why.
actually have availability to
Yeah,
go if
I'm
needed.
happy to.
If you need something, like I do have daytime availability.
Perfect, I appreciate it.
Okay.
But that was passed by resolution.
Oh, because Daryl on our expense claim is the backup for that.
Well, ad hoc, but.
But if he's working, then I mean.
Yeah, but I mean,
All theirs is during the day. That's the problem.
yeah. Well, but I didn't know they were Zoom. I didn't know that.
Well, some are in person, we're in Zoom here because it's easier to be on Zoom, they have a,
Yeah, they're at Spruce Grove,
Yeah,
they're across
Spruce
from,
Grove. You can go
across
to
from the
one.
library there.
but it's easier for me to sit on Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know if whether it's that or whatever, it's like they let me know. And
Let's coordinate
I guess
that.
it's fine, yeah.
I think maybe for the organization, because it's about there, but we coordinate.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, thank you for that. 3.1, Thorsby Community Impact Road report. So Beverly Milroy shared the report with us. Is there any highlights, Donna, you want to go over?
It's just a synopsis of some of the things that Thorsby was down to help the community, which is rural mental health. And it's a pretty good report on what Thorsby is doing and what they are attempting to do, and what they want to do. And so this is a snapshot. It's not telling us we have to do it. It's just saying what we're doing. We've got very good community engagement, which is pretty exciting actually for a little town like this, and that's good. And community engagement can mean everything from an opinion to a quick visit in the office, that's all engagement. So basically, that's quite a few milestones on page 53 of the council report with the Healthy Places, and there's a Health Communities Initiative in 2019, the terms of reference and vision statement 2019, two community projects, Taylor Park and Thorsby Trail Enhancement 2020, for the pandemic, 2021, input again, and for 2021, construction of Taylor Park. Then there's some paths created in 2022 on the trails and benches in typical tool, a CCAT tool that, most communities use. It's almost like a mental health report of what the community does, and then what they do is they take the CCAT results and they place it into the HPAT results, which is the Health Improvement Action Tool. And it just basically talks about where we're at, where we want to go, what kinds of skills we have, and the action tool across 6 focus areas for Thorsby, and all focus areas have shown an improvement. So that's pretty cool from where it was. And basically, it is it's a really nice snapshot of what's happening in our community for rural health. It's a good action tool.
Anybody have any question on the impact report? Not. And can I get a motion for 3.8, 3.9, and 3.1 for information?
I'll make that motion.
Tracy, all in favor? Carried. All right, so we'll go to the council reports. 4.1, I didn't get mine in time, but I'll give a verbal one here. So basically, for the month of September, we had our town meeting on the 12th. September 16th, the asset tour with council administration. We went around and saw all the facilities out here, and some of you, that was the first time you've seen some of those. So I thought that was pretty good. September 19th, I was invited to go to the new food bank ribbon cutting for the new facilities, and asked to give a short speech, which I did, and congratulations for the town. It was also attended by Sayo Donna. On September 20th, I had been contacted previously by CBC, Lauren Fink, who has some ties to people in town here, to give an interview on the town siren. I don't know if some of you might have seen some of it. It was on CBC. It was how much they kind of edited most of the stuff that I had to say out of there. But,
you have to be more charismatic when you're speaking. Come on. Flamboyant, gesture, and wave.
So anyhow, I gave a 20-minute interview and might have had 3 seconds on there. I don't know. But anyhow, it was all good. It was all positive. And, I guess the thing they did say, like, they had asked me if I thought we should get rid of it. And I said, no, it's part of our history. I think it really is. And then they asked a little bit about the sound, and we did that over the health study back in 2014. So anybody wants to see it, I guess there's a link. You can go to WWCBC and just go to the sirens in Alberta and you can see it. So anyhow, that's kind of cool. It was good. September 26th was a regular council meeting, and that's all I have for the month. Do you have any questions on that? Turn it over to Corey.
Well, other than, the normal meetings and water treatment tour, the only other thing was the Housing Foundation meeting, which we talked about last week. I did double check, it is the 27th, that is the tentative new date, hopefully, for that ground break.
September 27th?
October.
Hello.
October 27th.
I can go back in time.
Tentative.
October 27th.
So not like 100% firm as far as I know, but,
They'll send us soda. They usually are pretty good.
I think I remember the exact date there last time we talked to it, so.
Yeah.
I better double check.
Yeah, October 27th.
I believe that's correct.
Usually they send something out letting us.
Yes, it's, apparently, far harder than one would expect, trying to coordinate with, CMHC to get somebody to just show up.
Anybody have any questions? No. Councilor Miller doesn't have anything to report. Councilor Musson.
Oh, boy. A little bit went on in September. So, I was at all the usual meetings, and then September 6th, I attended the Kalmar Library 50th anniversary of being a library. There were speakers and cakes and special messages. September 13th, I attended Plainview Place for a wine and cheese evening, engaging with residents and families. 14th, I was bingo paymaster. 15th, seniors bingo workers appreciation evening, a winter roast and socializing down at the Lions Park. 16th, City Council Asset Tour. CAO Donna, the Public Works Andrew, and Water Dave toured mayor and council to view our water assets. 17th, I did Commissioner of Oath. 18, Communities in Bloom to meet with the CAO to review agreement. 20th, library meeting. October 25th to the 28th will be a book sale. Summer Reading Club was dynamic, working with FCSS on the story walk for preschoolers. Truth and Reconciliation Day, October 5th, all along Savannah and Tea. Treaty 6 flag will be hung in the library. Fall brochures are available. Many fall programs are available. November 16th, join them at the Library Lake Bath Bomb. Escape room may return in the new year. Inventory is being completed. New puppet theater has been well received. Library will be open for 3 hours on Saturdays. Overdue materials are being returned from patrons. Volunteers have been help out at the library. Stop in and check out the art show. Busy little hub. The 21st of September, Chamber of Commerce meeting. November 25th will be the Chamber Gala. December 1st will be Christmas in the Village. There will not be any fireworks this year unless we get a sponsor. They're finding that it will be $5,000 for 5 minutes with fireworks, and they're feeling that they can spend $5,000 elsewhere to have more fun with it. 5 minutes. Preparations for Thorsby's 75th anniversary in 2020. Taylor Park is getting spruced up. Chamber is awaiting snow removal, mapping for the season. Discussion ongoing as to improving the chamber sign at the north end of town. September 26th, I did Commissioner's Oath. 4th, I volunteered to work the Tasquin Bingo with the Historical Society. 25th, we removed the town plants from planters in preparation of winter. And September 27th, 28th, 29th, I was at the Alberta Municipalities Convention. That is my report.
Thank you.
Yeah. And no bath, what is a bath bomb?
You'll have to come to the library and build one.
Those balls, they just
You put
drop
it in like bath bubbles.
And then
You
it
just have the
stays in your
beads.
tub.
And then changes your water.
Donna thinks bathing is disgusting.
I do, I second the motion.
own
No,
road.
that's what I would say. I agree, because I say that hot tub's stupid.
Thank you.
See, the hot tub doesn't bother me, because I put harsh chemicals in there to make sure it's not gross, but there's no harsh chemicals in my bathtub.
It's just your own health, though.
I think it's primarily like a lot of baking soda or
Yeah.
something in there.
Okay,
And
that's
some fragrance.
That's all consistent.
I think it's cool, I appreciate that, I think concepts are future issues. but
And how,
that's-
how they pack it all together. I know I had a bath bomb once and it left like a lipstick wax around the.
Yeah.
It's disgusting to have to try to clean it up.
I got you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, thank you.
All
All
right.
right, any other questions?
Yeah, okay. So September, just want to make a side note, thankfully you did elaborate. I lost my book. I think I left it at the conference that has all my notes for the last 2 years in it.
Oh.
It does suck, because all my meetings and all my notes from the meetings, everything is in there. So I'm like starting from scratch. So thankfully you go to the library board meetings as well. So I attended the regular meeting, September 12th and 26th, the library board meeting, September 20th, as Tracy had described. On September 16th, we did the Thorsby water plant asset tour, which I thought was really cool because I was one of those people that had never seen any of that stuff, so I thought it was excellent. And then, of course, I'm doing this in categories, so I guess the conference would be training, meetings, public relations. We did that September 27th to the 29th. For public relations events, I attended the Senior Wiener Roast at the Lions Park.
You laughed at my basketball.
That did not sound good. Sorry, I apologize.
Work on your wording.
You guys are is not helping me at all. So anyways, the seniors help.
There's another one.
You know what, she went to a session on laughter and how important it is. She's trying to make us laugh.
It makes you feel better for at least 15 minutes. So anyways, I attended that for the bingo volunteers and such. On September 21st, I was the bingo paymaster. September 18th, I went to the high school meeting. And then on September 13th, I as well went to the Leduc Regional Housing Foundation event that was hosted by them to meet and greet local dignitaries and the residents that live at Plainview. Okay, I want to call it Pleasant View. Because it's Plainview. Okay, and that was September for me.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Shelley?
After that.
All right, can I get a motion to accept the council reports for information, please? All in favor? Going on to the CAO reports, 5.1, CAO report.
Thank you, Your Worship. Leduc County Fire Marshal Devin Stewart, Mr. Carey, and I met at the end of September and walked the trails on townland to determine if the Fire Smart program could or would be a consideration for the trails and to develop a hazard assessment for their upkeep of deadfall remediation. The wildfires that have happened this summer and the toll on resources, we looked at the trails and determined we begin to build a neighborhood recognition program that Fire Smart has criteria for that we qualify. Mr. Selfold, the Fire Smart representative from the province, and she indicated it would be this program that we would qualify for. So to have some work, however, we have a responsibility to manage these resources. In many towns within Alberta, there are workforce interface such as this in Hinton. However, we have a trail system very close to our infrastructure, residential areas, and downtown. We can't clean up the waterway in Weed Creek, but we can assess and clean up our trails. It's a program that involves a hazard assessment, sponsorship of a local team, and maintaining track of program status and conducting Fire Smart events each year that are dedicated to Fire Smart projects. Over the winter, we'll put more information out, start to recruit organizations and agencies and interested folks. We want to make sure our town is an accelerator should a wildfire come on. Town administration will work with the Fire Smart neighborhood experts to let those be consistently become a recognized Fire Smart neighborhood. So it may mean one of the ideas we had was blocking off squares on the trails where families could come and clear the underbrush, limb the trees up to 6 feet, and they could see some accomplishment over the weekend instead of walking the trails and trying to do stuff. We look at the big tree removal, our professionals, so at least we have some recognized squares of work done and so on and so forth, which is one of the Fire Smart ideas. We provide a brief family as part of the United Church section of the Thorsby Graveyard Comfort and Solace as we bury your family member, providing permission, great preparation, and the service to determine and monument for the family. In fact, Phyllis came in and sat with me for a while in the office last week and thanked us for doing that. So pretty cool. We got the service. Christian Polytechnic invited me to participate in a curriculum series of meetings for their new administration faculty regarding administrative systems and executive systems. As I'm an alumni of RDP, it's weird to say RDP now, or RDC. We accepted a practical student from the faculty this spring, and that was a large success for the student for RDP. The PhD development team wanted real-world input into the program, so that's ongoing. So we provide some good input there. Beginning to work with the community groups on their 2023 MOA documents that signed after budget. RDP officer elected in the community, and he's now in Worcester General College in Scott College training. So, but he's been here since September 2nd with Peace Officer Legio from Kalmar. He's been very well received, and he's in training now, graduates at the end of November to CAO, and the mayor will attend his graduation at the Minister of Make It at the college. And it's in the daytime, and it's in everything. You can make it, I don't know what the date is, but anyway, I will say that. Pump to the lift station and intake are in order, will likely arrive in March. That's good. We have a lift station pump down at this time. We're hoping it can be fixed in anticipation of the pump. Good news is that there are parts for these pumps, so we're hoping it's not too serious. However, now we've got a pump maintenance plan for all our pumps. No longer being ignored. Porters will be in the community replacing the full skin and And I reviewed the Alberta Urban Municipalities Resolutions, the resolutions book that we voted on, and I took the ones that I thought would be pertinent to Thorsby that were passed, which is awesome, and I look forward to our council members' discussion. I just had one question, a couple of questions in my report here. What was the level of discussion for oh, yes, here it is, integration of nurse practitioners into the health system, because it's all about the billing structure.
We
right?
were, I mean, everybody's hot on this. Like, every community wants this because obviously there's such a huge shortage. And so everybody wants to get this because there was so much talk about this the whole time was healthcare and the problems not only of not having enough healthcare providers within, but problems with people coming from other countries that ask is, you know, we need to fast track some of this. We need to get these people into our healthcare system. And then another issue is for nurses that are coming in from, there were some coming in from Ontario and such, and they were brought in by a certain community, but then Alberta Health Services scooped them and put them in another community. And there's so many issues and concerns, and the nurse practitioner thing is a big one, and they can't get funding from the government to bring them into their communities. That was kind of the
Big push.
yeah, so Danielle Smith did specifically talk about that and knows how important it is, and
They made it seem like it's coming.
yeah,
They just don't.
yeah.
Because she campaigned on the fact that the nurse practitioners have to be pulled out away from the funding of the doctors. She indicated that, so I just wondered if they discussed that.
It came up. It came up when she gave her speech. It came up when we were in that code blue. It came up in the resolutions. It came up. Healthcare was a big topic.
Because once they can bill for their own clinics, a lot more practitioners in rural communities.
Yeah,
That's what they were talking about.
it was a big topic.
But where was it in Boyle? I think a lot of the doctors left and they went to get one doctor, and their hospital
Got the day
is like
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
And they said emergencies don't just happen 9 to 5, and then people are having to travel off the other emergency. And yeah, it's quite a crisis.
We get to better advocate.
There was one community, I can't remember what town it was, that they started their own, I can't remember what it's called, but they pay and they set doctors up and they provided the buildings and they set up their own little healthcare system kind of thing, which it's going really well for them, but I can't remember which community it was. I don't know, it was interesting, like lots of healthcare talk, lots of infrastructure talk, lots of we need money.
That's awesome. Then I had this regional level municipalities. What was the discussion around that one? Oh,
Well, just basically they said, like, we don't have any money. And so basically if we're borrowing to do infrastructure and projects like that, we should be getting the rate that the bank's paying kind of thing. Like we shouldn't have to, especially if it's like ATB or like, you know, a part of the government, we shouldn't have to be making you guys money. We should get it at what you're getting it at.
so
So,
they indicated there's going to be legislation that are included in about 2.5%.
but I think that came up in her talk too. You know, like that's been
I think there's going to be recording available
of her talk.
of the whole 2 days.
Very good.
Yeah, just a few things. Okay, so for the nurse practitioner stuff, there actually has been funding. It's just that it's not a consistent or predictable funding.
Yeah.
Well, like when we did the nurse practitioner thing, it was from the province, but via primary care network, right? So like it was always these weird ad hoc arrangements. So I mean, there was, but it's just not consistent or
Yeah, they want
predictable. Is
something.
the problem, right? So it's hard to
Yeah.
plan 3 years down the road and work towards something because it may or may not even be there in 3 years. Maybe something else replaces it. Maybe it's nothing. But the problem is a lot of these, all they are is a gesture of futility, right? Like they're not municipal jurisdiction. We have no discretion or clout or authority in any of, like, a lot of these are just kind of silly that they're even being discussed at Alberta municipalities, frankly, like trade agreement impacts on municipal procurement processes. Those are international trade agreements. Like, this has nothing to do with, like, there's nothing we can do other than say we don't like it. But in that particular case, I actually think the trade agreements are good. But yeah, so I mean, it's just nice to keep it in perspective for everyone that this is a series of wish lists that are not within our jurisdictions and frankly are none of our business, generally speaking.
Yeah, I think it's just they want maybe the government to step up and speak on our.
Trying to just send a signal. It's just trying to advocate to the province or the feds, but again, for things that are not our scope generally. It's not our jurisdiction. It's not. It affects us, but it's not our, like, rural access supports to addiction and homelessness. Okay, so yes, there is homelessness and addiction in rural communities. Yes, municipalities end up picking up a lot of the slack, but it's actually a provincial jurisdiction. They just don't deal with it, which is why we pick up the slack.
That was
right?
another big conversation as well, because obviously in a lot of the topics, it was funding, homelessness, affordable housing, like it was all, and like, and we kept saying, like, you know, addiction, homelessness, vulnerable, there's an underlying issue that needs to be fixed. Throwing money at it is not going to fix it.
It's a provincial jurisdiction.
Yeah, and like Danielle Smith.
And then with it, they don't deal with it, and then so we end up having to do something, which is just the cheapest throw money at it option. It's not actually our jurisdiction.
Well, and then Danielle Smith actually, because that's what we kept saying in our conversations, and then she actually said it out loud, so that was actually nice to hear her say, we realize that there's underlying problems and that money's not going to fix it, and we realize, I know, but, you know, it's nice.
That's been like a consistent thing for 3 years running at AUMA is rural homelessness and, you know, housing and addiction and, like, social supports in rural communities. For 3 years, it's been a priority, and I haven't seen a single thing happen yet.
Well, and I'll be interested to see what happens in Leduc.
That'd be interesting now too.
Because they're supposedly closing that hub, the rumor is, and they're not building that new.
Well, they're
not building it now.
They're not.
There was a lot of.
They don't feel they have the support services, and the government doesn't give them the money to be able to help these people, so they don't want them. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could choose to not have homeless, huh?
They'll have more homeless now because the businesses won't even open their doors in the daytime. They're locked.
I went to the source the other day and I pulled on a locked door.
Yep.
And then there was a sign saying, ring the bell.
Well, we've had 2 big fires in the Duke, and they're a little suspicious, but they took out a lot of property by John Jack.
Yeah, the one that was a big.
It's big, and then a block.
I saw that, wasn't that the old Funky Fro or something like that?
No.
On the,
Further down.
okay, because I saw that one morning, or I was driving that way, and I saw that it was burnt down, and I was like,
On the way to the movie theater.
No, the Funky Fro's right behind that.
so what do they think happened?
They probably should burn
Well,
down.
they're not saying, they're not saying too much, but it's a little interesting. And then, a week and a half ago, behind our house, across the back alley, somebody's garage was burned outside.
Garages.
Big conflagration. Until they start thinking of First Nations who are out getting treatment centers right now. If you're addicted, you're coming off the street, you're coming in. Like it or not, you're going to have treatment, and you're going to have recovery care, and you're going to have support. That's the way we're going to do it. We're not leaving you in the ditch.
Well, the problem is that all costs money, and they don't fund any of it.
Well,
Like, it drives me nuts, where, I mean, they say.
First Nations can, but you're right, we
Yeah,
can't.
but like, in our case, right, I mean,
I agree.
the province just doesn't pay for it, like, they don't spend any money in that regard.
And they keep saying root cause. They're addicted. It doesn't matter the root cause. They've been arrested, mentally and socially because of the addiction, sometimes from teenage years. They're 13 years old in an addiction when they're 40 years old.
Well, they're still not dealing with the root cause, even if that's the approach they want to go, they still don't invest in that even. So, I mean, they just invest in, they don't even invest in policing. That's insane. They just ignore it. It's frustrating.
They suggest.
Even at that, minimally.
But I mean, still, like, it's not solving the problem.
No, but that's just like, they really just are ignoring that entire
100%.
issue, and it's actually quite significant as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned.
it's bad in the
It's
Well,
bad.
I said that.
Extremely bad.
I was like, where are they going to go? They're not going to just hop in their cars and drive to Edmonton. They don't have cars. And in their mindset, they believe that these people are gonna move to Edmonton because there's no support systems in Leduc. I'm like,
Anytime you bring transit into a municipality or into a
the LRT,
subdivision, LRT, you
spread
want
it
to
all
get-
over.
spread it all
Yeah.
over, right? Just the last question, Your Worship, to Councilor Shelley. What did they talk about with respect to capital budget disclosure, specifically impacting procurement process? What were they?
I don't remember the
Okay,
specifics, but,
Capital budget.
no, that was if they didn't want to.
Oh, right,
for-
you know what, I
yeah,
know
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Because I remember someone specifically talking about how it affected them, and it was because
They put a
they had
number in
to
their
put out a
budget.
report saying what they're budgeting for it, so all the people that bid on it bid what was in the budget, and so that's not
Yeah, like,
cool.
Well, yeah, like in the notes I put, said to you guys, like, there's anybody who's ever bid any project to
They
be
said
funded,
every
go look at the
single
budget
person,
first.
yeah,
Of course, like that,
every-
you'd be
so
an
they-
idiot to not go read the budget first.
Yeah, so
because
they said they don't want
sometimes
to,
it's hidden, but it's there, you just have to know how to find it.
so they said they don't want to put it in the budget because they want to get the most honest bid of what it's gonna cost, and they're getting everyone, but they were like, why is everyone bidding the same? And then they realized, well, it's in our budget.
Well, someone whose company filled out probably 200 RFPs in our system. I would rather you tell me the budget. Then you
You
look
can
to
tailor
see
the
what I
scope of work
can
accordingly,
offer.
I agree. So
Absolutely.
I can do a really crappy job for cheap, or I can do a really good job that's overkill, and if, you know, hey, whatever you want, anywhere in between.
I think what they need to teach municipalities is how to.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, how to bet with our, the
How to
received
bet.
tenders, yeah.
That's right. I want to know what your budget is. Maybe I'll budget to it or bid to it, maybe I won't. But I need
Yeah,
to
because
know
we've
what
had
you're
times where it's
thinking.
like, well, your budget's too high, I couldn't spend that much if I wanted to,
Exactly.
that's preposterously overkill.
It is.
I can't
And then
remember.
there's other times where that's just not gonna happen, you're gonna get garbage no matter what, because you can't afford to do it right.
That's
Do you
right.
remember which? I forget, but they said every single one was exactly what the budget said.
Yeah, that's because they can't vet the RFPs. I'm glad you clarified that, because the municipalities need to have understanding how to vet these RFPs. Yeah.
And the thing is, you gotta keep in mind how tight construction's been for the last while as well, though. I wouldn't be shocked that they were all within a very, 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 very tight band, just cut. That has been the industry for the last couple of years, so
You betcha.
it probably has, if they budgeted really close and that had already kind of priced it out and they had an accurate budget number, well, it's gonna be the same as anyone who's not an incompetent contractor.
Yeah, I'd rather them procure it. Hey, hold it, stop.
I don't think anyone gave against that one community described what had happened on a big project and how they totally don't want to have to show it. And then there wasn't really much.
I feel like that's, like, I agree,
Project
they
management.
screwed up and picked the wrong contractor, and then somebody didn't want to take the blame for picking the wrong contractor. Well, it's not our fault, it's because of this faulty process. Well, no, you just didn't plan it properly.
Yeah, or they couldn't manage the project from a
Yeah.
municipal standpoint, right?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's known and expected, and it always has been, though. This is not a new phenomenon. This is not something that's just changed. It's very manageable and navigable.
Awesome, appreciate it, thank you, Your Worship.
All right, any other questions? If not, then, Mr. Don, if you want to do the rest of these, C reports for us?
I sure can. Here till 11.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything in there that we need to
Unless
touch
somebody-
on specifically?
Yeah, there will be. So bottom line, just to let you know, all our fire hydrants have been flushed and winterized, they're all done. We're early this year. And we relocated 45% of the dirt off the raw water ponds, and we'd like to help with access 45%. And that's over 300. So that's about 400 to go. And then, of course, Andrew is with me with Fire Smart. Kelly's report is, memberships are still up. Programs and events are good. The adult program intro to pottery sold out. People go, hey, wait a minute, hold it, we want some more, so she had to add another class. That's pretty cool. September 18th with hockey was the opening date with 2 weeks of conditioning camp and evaluations, and the regular schedule begins the 1st of October. Only Sundays having open ice. That's pretty cool. After school skating for the public is Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll put this on the website, just to pick all this out here. But Friday is shinny and Wednesday is public skate. And we're looking to learn the skate program on Monday. The heat floor exchanger on the ice plant to replace it is $15,000. The compressor repairs, the brine filter replacement, $4,500. And Kelly's
What is that one?
Um,
No, what?
oh, I can't remember which one it is now off the top of my head. And then, yeah, and that's the thing, we can't operate without these
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
these are
yeah.
things we need, so, and then we're gonna try to find. We kind of looked at it,
And we have some door issues, and our cameras are all working outside of the building, are now covered. So, walking around, we'll be able to see who's doing it, so they're also. And we've also been registered with the capture program, Councilor Thomas, so, which is good. And we thought it was Councilor Thomas that night, that the Duke also has a program for our houses, which would be pretty cool.
And we were providing information for that to people, like we're doing, include a link or anything on the website?
We're gonna start all that.
Yeah, I haven't saw it yet, but yeah.
So,
okay.
we'll put it up, yeah, we definitely will, because the winter's coming in. We'll be doing that. For FCSF, basically, community awareness, that's one of the main highlights here from 6 to 8 p.m. It's very successful. I was there for a while. 40 resource sites and 60 organizations. So that's pretty good. And then, chatting. These were there for a little while. And the Mama Township program started at FCSF every Monday morning at the FRA building. I close the portal, but at the FRA building. And so we're working with that program to try and enhance that as well. So,
Can we just make a mental note, all of us? Maybe discuss with Michaela, if she's still with us in the new year, if, when we're looking at the community awareness night, maybe we could look at going back to the high school, because it was way better attended. The community came out in full force to support it when it was at the high school. And then I believe there was issues between principal at that point in time and an FCSS person at that time. And so then it got moved, and then it kind of isn't as well supported at all. Like, it used to be a full house.
I know she did invite all the computers and all.
But I mean, it's not even that. It's just when it was at the high school, it was usually tied around an event, like maybe parent-teacher or something to that effect. I don't know, or something. Oh, the welcome night. And like, it would be packed. And it was great for the community.
Lack of knowledge as well. I had no idea there was what happened.
I know the elementary school doesn't want us there that much.
But that, it used to be at the high school, in the gym.
The elementary school, they're probably just there.
I've always gone into it when it was at the high school.
I think school was at marketing better.
When it moved to the rec center originally, I feel like attendance was actually quite high. I think attendance actually increased for the first year.
I don't know, every time I've gone, it's been like, you could shoot a
But
cannon through it.
community involvement, the number of volunteers, the amount of active participation in the community in every group in every measurable way has declined over that same period. When it first moved to the rec center, I'm almost certain, if we went back and looked, I'm almost certain, not like 100%, but pretty close, that attendance actually was higher than it had ever had been at the high school, and it's declined from there as community involvement declined in general.
Okay. But at the high school, when it's included in a high school, junior high event, the parents and the kids and everybody's coming there, so then they walk through the traffic. If it's an event all by itself and nobody's interested in coming to town and there really isn't a lot of things there, it's just slowly gonna die, which,
I have suggested making it.
Yeah, so it's just gonna say.
And
Like-
she said she invited all of, and none of them.
Quite often, all.
It's done by then.
Players are already
Yeah, it's
registered
done
by
by
that
then.
date.
yeah. Hockey is like
That
August, I
registration.
think.
But years ago, it used to be, there was karate, there might be a karate demonstration. So there was square dancers, there was a square dancing presentation. There was many different programs.
50 tables of different, yeah.
And I don't feel that there's many programs there that are being offered to register. I feel like it's like, yes, the one nurse.
Black gold table.
Yes, more information, and it's not as many programs.
Maybe because when it was at the school, it was more about getting the kids into programs. But I know it used to be, I like the word
Something. All right, any other questions? I'll get a motion to accept the state reports for information.
I can make that motion.
Favor? Sure. CFO report.
Nice short and sweet. So we just had the auditors here on the 28th, and testing went well, there was no issues. She asked 2 questions all day, so that's positive. The LAPP audit will be done at the end of December, and I think testing budget was passed. Outstanding utilities, 77,726.04, of which 7,000 is up for shut off. Outstanding taxes, 359,000 dollars.
At least that's quite a bit higher than it normally is.
No.
Because I looked.
Over summer, though, I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a seasonal fluctuation. I mean, by this time of year, normally it's like 50, isn't it? No? Okay.
So 45,000 of it is from 2022. That number is.
No, for the utilities.
Oh, the utilities.
Yeah,
Oh,
utilities
yeah,
are
it might be
50.
higher, and because maybe I ran the report a little bit different.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, yeah, it seems quite a bit high. Like, you
Yeah.
do normally in the
But
summer
even
kind of
the
get a little
cutoff
bump in it,
number
but
is higher, like 7,000.
yeah, like I don't know, it seemed a little surprising to me.
Yeah.
It seemed to get
Yeah.
bumped up.
And then operating accounts, we have 1.2 million, a lot of it.
Shelley?
Just a question, because I just thought about this. In the outstanding taxes, it's 359,000. Does that include, do you include the stuff that's monthly or, okay. Just a question,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does, but
Okay.
even like when I look at the 2022 number, it's
Better.
Any other questions, Cindy? All right, and, motion to accept the CFO report for information. All right, thank you, all in favor? Last item, correspondence, just, got a letter from the commanding officer, RCMP, basically telling us how they've spent our money that we've given them in the last 3 years. Yeah, Corey?
It's money that we have voluntarily contributed, and I am very opposed to throwing good money after bad.
we're not voluntarily.
This is
This
the
is the
fund,
money
this
from-
is the stuff.
this
we
is-
have to
This
pay.
is for their they're trying with their admin position.
No,
This
this
is
is
the
not, this is the
$5,000.
money from the government that we.
Yeah.
afford
This is
to
like-
pay.
Okay, just because they're talking with their admin position, I assumed it was the optional admin position that we
Oh, no.
fund as well, which I cannot understand why we fund that.
This is the one we've been given for, this is the 4th year we've done it. You guys, it started 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the,
it's mandatory funding.
yes, okay, for the, yes, like, when they're talking about, aren't
No.
those supposed to be going to frontline staff though, aren't they? The admin position is what we optionally fund.
The admin position is optional funding, but this, he's talking about the money they get from the government, from
Yeah.
our funding agreement with the
Which
government.
is supposed to go to frontline staff, not admin though, I thought.
Well, according to this, he's saying that they've,
According to him.
all the wonderful things they do, this intelligence analysis, specialized investigative support teams, police dog teams, emergency response, invest in a number of resources to support your department's efforts to address the root causes of crime, increasing resources in programs and partnerships focused on mental health and additions. And they put a new staff member in Breton and a new staff member in Thorsby. That's all. What was it, $55,000?
Oh, this year was 30.
It goes up, yeah. I want to say next year will be, is there 1 more year, 2 more years? Oh,
2 more years.
2 more years.
It's the same for the next 2.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there's just one more jump up.
One more jump and then it's the same.
God, that's a lot.
It was actually a little bit less than what we budgeted,
Oh,
than what we were told, based on our lives.
Yeah, but it's just that our equalized, it's a statistical anomaly that ours went down a little bit, but that's not actually a good thing. That means our
Wasn't like a
property,
huge number,
that actually means
but
our collective property values have declined relative to everyone else's. That's actually a bad thing.
all right, so motion to accept, correspondence correspondence for information.
I'll make that motion.
Good, all in favor? That is it. Questions from the gallery here? Irene?
And a couple of things actually, and one of them is just asking, in the last council, we had the pathways to the rec centre and the library built, like, that way. And that would prevent any injury, even with the snowing, and though that gully was filled, you wouldn't know that it was probably drawn out. The one that goes to the rec centre, the main door, is good. The one that goes to the library is too narrow for someone to go down with a wheelchair. And this was pointed out at that time, and the construction company that did it said that they would do that one.
It's first I heard of it, but who did it, yeah, I've never heard of it before, Irene, but, we certainly can look into it, yep.
It just,
Yeah.
before they were built,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, yep.
you know, that gully there,
Mm-hmm.
and they would go down. Even me, you know, I put my chain down, and when I thought it was solid ground, and so I would be shouting for help.
I remember the discussion about, yes, there needed to be a handrail there, and the reason why there's a handrail there, and I'm sure everyone can agree it should be a handrail there. I don't, I'm trying to visualize, I was just there recently, and I don't recall, it never stands out to me being particularly narrow. Why are we assuming it's too small? It's got to be at least 3 feet.
I don't know, of course. All I know is that it was the closest input, the same width as the one.
I've never heard of that part of it, and I feel like it's right to the edge of the structure, and to make it any wider, you'd have to actually make a wider, bridge, so to speak. You'd have to make the whole structure wider, which would obviously be more than just a handrail. But and it doesn't seem particularly narrow to me, from what I can recall.
Yeah.
Well, we can check it out anyhow. Yeah, we'll check it out and let you know.
And the other thing, who is responsible for things that go on at the Lions Park? Is it councillors, or is it Lions?
Depends on the situation. What's the incident?
What about planting plants?
Within the Lions Park campground itself, they can plant trees and plant flowers.
My concern is that we have a committee, a Lions committee, a tree planting committee. I obtained 3 trees that we wanted to plant, and I was given them free of charge. And we purchased another 3 trees that I paid personally $100 towards that tree of the concerns I felt bad about. We planted 3 of them, and Barry Rush came down. I wasn't there at that conversation. I was told about it. A boy was planting trees. Community Bloom came down and said, "No, we're not planting those trees there where the dead ones are. We're going to pull them up and plant these new trees there in the spring." What has it got to do with community bloom? Nothing.
The Lions, under your MOA, you can beautify the Lions campground, or you can do what you need to do. Usually you talk to us about it. If Community Bloom wanted to do some things down there to liaise with the Lions Club,
But as far as the Community Bloom MOA, there's nothing specific in any way, shape, or form. They have to actively come ask the town to have any authority to do anything down there.
But they also just below the school down there.
Well, I'm on top of that.
Still, yeah, well, we'll use it as a grade.
I'm on top of that. That's all I'll say.
On a trail.
It does look like a grade. I have issued, yeah, I've issued a Twitter. And we did forward around the group. And she did I wish you clearly gave them. I wish you but if you want to plant flowers or trees or anything like that, we would have to. We have a conversation.
Yes, and I have in the committee, they have to do what they want to do. And this is what I listening to committee doing, coming down, and doing what it is that they just want to do.
We'll take it up here. Please don't plant fruit trees. Can I ask you that? Please don't plant fruit trees. Please don't.
We can treat take where we want.
Okay, you're forgiven.
All right, well, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Sarah.
Over the line.
Anything else?
Absolutely.
There you go. All right, anybody from, that's it? Nobody has anything else? Okay, well then, motion to adjourn.
I was just gonna ask, I haven't checked onto the website, but are all the minutes and videos from the most recent meetings up for people to look at?
Just talking about the regular stuff, but
Well, yeah, they're always a little delayed, but yeah.
They're
all
on
of
the
the-
day.
all of our current minutes are up.
Oh.
All of our current minutes are up. I think only the video from the last regular.
What are we missing here?
I don't know, there was a few months, it was a few months.
If there's any that aren't up there that are 3 months old, because there have been issues where I, like, at the, I can't remember if it was when we were doing the land use bylaw stuff, and then we had to change out the recordings. For whatever reason, one of the recordings didn't save, because I think I started a new meeting directly after that, and then I couldn't find it.
Yeah, there's a couple that.
So I just looked periodically and to see if the minutes and videos were there, and they weren't always there.
Yeah, as soon as I have them.
Yeah, because they're not official minutes until we approve them at the following meeting.
That's why you won't see them.
Right, there's always a delay.
Yeah, so you're not gonna see the regular minutes of these.
I'm not even allowed to sign the minutes until the mayor signs.
Yeah,
We have to vote in favor of them before he can sign.
And the recordings,
But I
yeah,
feel
there's recordings from July and August not in there.
Last December,
Yeah,
last December I was out of the country, and the meeting happened on the Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I watched it on video.
Since that happened, we've had 2 video sessions, so I appreciate you letting me know.
the townspeople might need to know that.
Well, then we can address it right away, we're on top of that.
And the draft minutes are always good. Like, even when
But
they're
we
not.
don't put up official minutes till the end.
Because they're not official minutes
So,
until
yeah,
the video.
you can. So if you're looking for comments, you won't get them.
No, not the minutes necessarily, but the videos.
Video.
Yeah, and I just haven't. I've been
Two
playing
in
catch up.
July,
on
in trouble in July.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it being particularly problematic. I mean, I do actually go and pull minutes and stuff on occasion, and I haven't found any things that there's many times I haven't been able to find.
Video.
I just,
I don't actually watch the videos ever, so.
I know last December, when I could watch it the next day, but I wasn't sure if that would be the case.
Sometimes it depends on their infrastructure too.
Well, and how busy we are
It's
the
not
next
even
day.
anything.
It's not my high
Well,
priority.
Well, no, I mean,
Usually
in reality, it's
encode
really
it,
simple. It's
and
not
then
even,
pull
it
it,
doesn't happen.
and then pull it, and then on my computer, and then I have to upload it to YouTube.
We have no policy to put them on the next day. We do it.
No.
I try to get them up. Well, and if anybody's like, hey, can you fast track it, I really, really need them, I'll try to fast track it. Sometimes, yeah, I'm
Just question.
Okay. Anything else? No, come on. Motion to adjourn. Sure. Done. Thank you.